And this story, a 91-year-old woman had a taser pointed at her and a mesh spit hood put over her head by police after a dispute with her carer. The, quote, distressed elderly woman allegedly spat at one officer when police were called to her home in Peckham. She was then handcuffed and taken to hospital but not arrested. The Independent Office for Police Conduct is investigating the incident. Is it ever appropriate to point a taser or use a spit hood on a 91-year-old? Mike Neville is a former Scotland Yard Detective Chief Inspector. Afternoon to you, Mike.
Good afternoon, Ian, from Barmouth in Wales.
Oh, there you are. Lovely Barmouth in Wales. Good to have you with us as ever. It's a curious case. It's a very unusual case. Very hard to know, as always with these things, unless you are the officer there at the time dealing with something. When you make these calls, it's hard to objectively make a call on what was going on. But on the face of it, it does seem rather unusual that you'd ever need a taser for a 91-year-old.
It does seem rather bad at first sight. We just don't know, though, do we? I mean, being spat at by anybody is a disgusting thing, and also all the health implications with it as well. And what somebody once said to me, you try getting your 90-year-old granny down the stairs if she doesn't want to go. But it just emphasises why the police shouldn't be dealing with these mental health issues. The Commissioner has put a stop to that, and it really should be healthcare professionals. We can only hope this old lady is well. I know one of the officers has been suspended already. So there would have been body-worn footage of the officers have to record this. So what happened is on video. We can ultimately we may see that, but it is hard to judge because, as I say, if a 90-year-old doesn't want to go down the stairs, then they don't. But she wasn't even arrested, as I understand it. She was just taken to hospital. So the whole thing seems very, very messy. And as I say, the main thing is let's hope this old lady is okay.
Yeah. I mean, the protocol when it comes to things like spit hoods, I mean, I would imagine, bearing in mind a spit hood, despite how some politicians, notably Diane Abbott over the years, have tried to kind of define these things as if it's sort of some iron mask that is strapped and bolted to your skull. Of course, it isn't. It's quite a loose thing. You can still speak, you can still communicate, you can still breathe. I could kind of see why they might need to use that if somebody's been spitting at them.
Yes, it is, and as I said to you, it's being spat at is vile, and the hepatitis and all the other diseases that can be passed. The officers just don't need to. No healthcare professional or police officers should be subjected to such. But I just hope the officers they'll have to justify. They would have known at the time they have to justify themselves. There's 5 officers there.
Yeah.
And so they'll have to write a report. But the main thing is these days, everything's on video. So it can be viewed. I think one member of the family has been shown the video. So it is very useful for the police professional standards to be able to view the video and show the family. It's
going to be, obviously, there's always an inquiry with these kind of things. Just to give some meat onto the bones of this, if you would, Mike, the IOPC, the Independent Office for Police Conduct, that's often a matter of procedure, isn't it, in an issue or an area or an event where there might be controversy or there might simply be questions. Referring yourself to it in itself is not some kind of admission that we've done something wrong.
No, it often happens if somebody dies in police custody and the like. So that would have been a routine matter. I mean, this elderly lady is black as well, which will also raise issues. So because of these things, the Met will think, well, we won't investigate ourselves. We'll have some independence around the investigation. And they, as I say, the officers will have had to write a bit detailed reports. It's all on video. And the hospital will no doubt have information about injuries and the like. And it can all be seen whether procedures were followed. And so let's hope this. The trouble with the IOPC, of course, is it'll take months and months and months, and we have one officer suspended and 4 or 5 on restricted duties, not catching burglars, robbers and sex offenders like what the public would want them to do.
Yeah, spot on. Listen, Mike, as ever, thank you. Enjoy the rest of Wales while you're there on your break. Mike Neville, former Scotland Yard Detective Chief Inspector. I know something similar happened in Australia, didn't it? And I think the woman subsequently died, but that was when a taser was used. The use of taser, I think I've got this roughly correct, if an officer simply, unlocks their holster, then that is marked down as an event involving taser. If they pull the taser out, that is also marked down as significant because they've taken the taser out, even if they haven't fired it. And then firing it, of course, becomes something different. So that in itself, using it, pointing it, you can kind of see why, despite the age of somebody, the chaos that might have been going on, maybe the officers felt that that was the only way ahead in the melee of a chaotic scene, despite the age of somebody of 91. I mean, it does seem extraordinary, right? You think, well, really, a 91-year-old? I mean, you know, you can get some fairly fit 91-year-olds, but this does seem... I've never seen a 91-year-old that could run a marathon, put it that way. I think that's a given that that doesn't happen. Or somebody's going to probably put me right on that.